Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sheriff Darrin Russo for the Somerset County Sheriff's Office, and here today to talk a little bit about the office, a little bit about myself and my background before coming to the office. And if we get some time, we can field some questions and some of the residents of the county and some input, and creating a dialogue and answering some of those questions today or even at a later time. So let me start with just saying a little bit about myself and how actually I started and got to this position. I was a police officer in Franklin Township for 31 years. I retired there about almost 5 years ago now, as a lieutenant. So throughout my career, I was mainly involved with plainclothes units, major crimes through the Detective Bureau. And as I was promoted, I then became supervisor of most of the plainclothes units within Franklin Township. Throughout my career of major crimes, the gang unit, narcotics, I also kind of came along with more of like a liaison or outreach for the community, working with local business owners, working with the schools and houses of worship to try to not just obviously protecting people, but to also assist where we could with educating or acquiring jobs for individuals that were in need. So throughout my career, that's what I did. I campaigned and ran on the premise of taking this Somerset County Sheriff's Office into the same avenue, go the same route with, I saw it was lacking, not being a part of the community. So what I did, as I've been here now for a little over a year and 4 months, even with the COVID, we'll get into that a little later. Things have been a little difficult with the COVID, but I still brought here, and my undersheriffs brought here, the idea of working with the community, of being part of the community. So we have established, different programs, different policies, different responsibilities, I'll say, for the sheriff's office. Let me run into real first what we actually do in the sheriff's office. A lot of people ask me that question, what's the sheriff actually do? Our primary duty as a sheriff officer is to secure the courts, protect the judges, protect the citizens coming in and out of courts, moving prisoners in and out of courts, picking up, delivering prisoners to different courts. Also, I have the responsibility of the Somerset County Jail. So with that, obviously, keeping inmates safe inside. We rotate through bringing inmates over to the courts, and again, bringing them any other facilities that are needed for their trial somewhere else, or transporting or picking up fugitives. Those are some of the responsibilities of the sheriff. We also have a school resource officer in the VOTEC school. We have an officer assigned to the Motor Vehicle Commission. We assist local police departments, usually during storms. Sometimes people get overwhelmed with power lines out, major snowstorms, floods. We get a lot more involved when those incidents occur throughout the state and the county. We have Project Lifesaver, medicine drop, things of that nature. We also have a canine unit, which I'll get into later, looking to expand, and we are expanding our canine unit, which assists from, you have a bomb situation, drug situation, and arson. We have several canines that are trained in different aspects of crime to assist local police departments, citizens, locating people that might be missing, anybody in danger of hurting themselves that goes out into the woods, so where we can locate. We have a great canine unit, again, which we are expanding. With that, a lot of people ask, really, what's new in the sheriff, or actually, what am I doing, or what have I done? So again, I went back to the COVID, where it's a very unusual year, and we had only had about 2 or 3 months before COVID, swept in. But we still were able to manage budget-wise, but we also were able to manage new programs and policies. I'm happy to say we've kept our budget very reasonable and down. We kept our overtime down, in spite of a lot of extra duties that COVID had called upon. Cleaning and maintaining a healthy work environment for the inmates, for the officers, and for just people coming into the building, administrative building, and the courts. So that that entails a lot. It's not as easy as most people think. It's just keeping that virus down and out. And we've had a very good success rate. We implement a lot of things early, which also took up some staffing and manpower. But we push through. We continue to push through. We continue to make sure things are safe and secure through this pandemic. What we were able to do is actually start a bias hate crime unit. I also said when I first took over as sheriff that we need to diversify the department, which was extremely lacking. We started off with that with actually hiring first Indian female. We've hired first Asian male, and we've also hired a first Muslim female. So we've been pushing through with hiring, trying to replace, not adding to the force. We've been, adding to when people retire. We've been picking up good recruits and good officers. We actually have 3 officers in the academy right now as we speak, graduating in July, I believe it is. So diversifying the force, wasn't just hiring people to diversify for the community, but it was also with promoting. I gave my first promotion a year after I was in office, where we promoted our first female into the rank of sergeant. In, I believe, around 17, 18 years, that was the first female to be promoted in the sheriff's office. Asian female, she was working here for 9 years. She was part of my diversity force and hate crimes unit with the LGBTQ community. She's one of my liaisons. And we've just added as we saw fit and saw what the need and saw what the community needed. We added somebody to the fugitive squad, working with the prosecutor's office and some federal agencies. We have assigned officers to the DEA along with the Canine, which was actually the first done in the county. We have a Canine officer and the Canine actually sworn in as an agent for the DEA. Homeland Security, we have somebody assigned to, and we have somebody assigned to the marshals. So not only experience does that bring in, it helps with connections and getting to know other law enforcement agencies. Something I was big on back in Franklin, just to go back a little bit, I worked with the Joint Terrorism Task Force, I worked with the DEA, I worked with multiple agencies throughout my career. So seeing that was lacking here, when I came here, I kind of jumped on that and started pushing that out as part of my agenda. What else you want to know about me? Let's see. Well, I took the sheriff's office this position and looked at it as getting out there and being part of the community. I think that was lacking. I think I said that before also. And jumping on that and seeing what was needed, being a part of the community. I think that's where some of the strong points that I picked up on here for the community. We have kind of redefined the reentry program for prisoners, for inmates when they're being released from the facility. Hope One program we're looking at. It's a mobile unit that comes out to neighborhoods to assist with whether it's jobs, assistance with narcotics, issues, or just looking at education, moving forward with your life. So we're working on these other programs. Again, COVID's kind of, put a little damper on it to slow it down a little bit, but we are moving forward. We are part of the community, and I'm happy. One of the other things we actually started, I forgot, is our chaplaincy program. So we started this program with, Catholic, Muslim, Jewish, Baptist. We have several house of worship that are liaisons for us. Now, I've also included in there business owners, schools, liaisons, any type of groups that work. They can work with our hate crime unit and our PR department, and just kind of combine them to give the residents that assistance that they might need, that little extra help they could use. If they're not sure where to go, not sure how to report things, they may have a business owner, a friend, or somebody in their church or place of worship, which can direct them into the proper channel and get the proper assistance that they need. We looking at any questions to field?
Yeah, sure. We have a question. Someone was asking about the different types of police canines that we have, the different specialties, and if there's any recent really good jobs that those dogs have done.
Yes, actually, so one of our, let's see, we have 4 dogs, canines, and we have 3 handlers. So one of the handlers has an arson dog, which early last year had a big arson case out in Bound Brook, which he was part of tracking and finding and helping out. That officer also has a bomb dog, which we utilize on a regular basis throughout the counties and the state. One of the other dogs is a narcotics dog, which is assigned currently to the DEA. Still in use for the county if we need him, but his primary function right now is with the DEA throughout the tri-state area, actually. And the other canine that we have is our tracking dog and narcotics dog. This particular dog has had some really good finds, some really good arrests, I'll say. One of them was actually more recently over in Middlesex with a robbery. The dog was called out, the handler came out, and within roughly an hour or two, the dog had tracked the perpetrator right to his door. So a great end to a situation, a safe ending to a situation. And you just, again, we have an amazing group of handlers, and the canines themselves are well-trained and disciplined. We are in the process of adding 2 additional canines to the office. It was a great donation by a local resident to fund that for everyone. So we're not raising up, the taxes or anything like that. We have funding for it, fully paid. We're just waiting on a few rules and regulations from the AG's office to actually move forward on that to help the residents out. So that's something looking forward to. That's another thing that we're adding to the office is expanding the canines. We go out very often to local, police departments upon their request to assist them in locating people, drugs, or good guys and bad guys. So hope that answers the question.
Sure. We have another question asking about what you have done for religious institutions within the county as far as keeping them safe with all that's going on nationally.
Right. So when I first got here, looking at the actual office and where the staffing was used, I felt and sitting down with the undersheriffs, we came up with the conclusion that we could do more outside and with the residents. Covering, patrolling, stopping in and saying hi, socializing with religious organizations, some of the local businesses. There's something that you go back to the words community policing. So I was always big with that back in Franklin, having a liaison, having somebody talk, but even just visibility, going through the parking lots, of the local church or synagogue or some of the local businesses. When COVID first started, we had a lot of problems, obviously, with the local stores, with getting a little bit overrun with residents coming in and wanting some of the goods that they had for sale or lacking. So I made sure we also, with the officers, had them out there, had them out in the parking lot, had visibility, have them, checking on the different stores that were having problems. So things like that, getting out in the community, being a part of the community. Big with that back then. I'm big with that now, and it's just something I keep pushing forward with. So that answered the question on that one. We have more.
We had one question asking, will the sheriff's office still be participating with the torch run for Special Olympics this year?
Yes. So also when I was in Franklin, I did a lot of charity work. The union was very big with helping the community. Charity work at different, didn't have to just be Franklin. It was throughout the state, actually. So one of the things we actually always done committed to was funding and helping out with Special Olympics. Polar bear plunge in the winter time. I'm a little older now to jump in the water at when it's 20 degrees out, but we get accomplished. But what I started doing this year, I actually ran the actual torch run. It's actually the first time I actually ran it. A lot of times I organize things, but I didn't get too involved with it. But this year I actually took an active role in carrying the torch and running. I just realized that with the COVID, a lot of the fundraising's down. Maybe I can help promote it a little bit better by getting actually, I'll say running shoes on the ground, and actually participate in it. So always an active supporter of Special Olympics, always looking to see what we can do with any kind of charities and with the community. So.
One more for you, Sheriff. They're asking, can you tell us a little bit more about your new chaplaincy program?
All right, well, the chaplaincy program originated really helping out inmates, helping out families of inmates and officers. So what we've brought it over actually towards the sheriff's office, the law side, was to assist the officers during, some hard times of, we had an officer, have to say, passed away in November, which was a very big hit for us, very big loss. But we brought in a chaplaincy program and the chaplains and all that come in to speak to the officers. So it's kind of a twofold, it's there for inmates and their families, but it's also there for now the officers and their families to help us get through some trying times. Good. I guess we're gonna wrap up. I'm being told we're gonna wrap up, folks. Look, if you have any more questions, I've run out of time. I'd love to have them send them in. I can always go through them and get them back out to everybody. I appreciate your time. I thank you for coming out. I'd like to do 2 more of these and get that message out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a good day.